Money's moving to me. I'm a millionaire. Money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it.
Hey, beautiful people. Great day to you all. Today is what? Wednesday? Happy Wednesday to you. If you are watching live, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. Rep your city, rep your country. Let me know where in the virtual building you are watching me from this great day. Listen, I am not going to be long before you, but I do want to share some information with you that I believe if you apply will be transformative for your life. Transformational, rather. Come on, Sharita. Come on. I'm out here creating words. Let me do so. All right, y'all want to go ahead and get started with my intro as I always do. My name is Sharita Leon. I went from being a homeless, disabled single mom to a two-time #1 best-selling author with books that were on the bestsellers list for over 2 years straight. I'm also a life, relationship, and business coach, an internet marketing strategist, entrepreneur, international speaker, and the protege of the legendary Les Brown, a Forex trader and investor. And I empower my tribe to live their God-given purpose while creating wealth and have healthy relationships. I'm also a believer, and my faith is exuding all that I do. Welcome, beautiful people. So today I want to talk to you about the B word. I know you're looking at the title like, what's she talking about, right? So let me give you a little backdrop. I was listening to something today and it totally was so amazing. And I was like, oh, I have to share this. Hey, Casey, how are you? And when I heard it, I said, it makes so much sense. And I started reflecting on my life. And in my life, I saw how I grew and changed drastically based off of one word that kind of led to another B word. And the word I'm going to refer to today is your behavior. Your behavior to success. Now, we all know that success is relative to any person that has their own idea, but we can all kind of agree that success is something that you actually aspire to create and you actually manifest it, right? Well, your behavior determines how you end up at that end goal. Your behavior towards other people, your behavior towards your own thoughts, your behavior towards yourself, your behavior, the way you conduct yourself is in direct alignment for the things that you actually say you want and or don't want, right? So if you look at your behavior, you can start acting a certain way now before you actually ever accomplish what you want in some way, shape, or form. People and or things begin to align with that goal. Let me share a story with you. So there was a young man who became a very successful entrepreneur, made multiple seven figures, and was sharing his story one day. And one day he was sharing how he was a student that didn't really do well in school, right? He kind of hung out with the jokers, didn't really pay attention to class. He was practically failing school. But in high school, we had to take our SAT. So he had to get ready for his SAT. And when he was getting ready for his SAT, he came back and got his results. And he had a super high score. And so his mom was like, son, did you cheat? He's like, Mom, I tried to cheat, but I couldn't. This is actually what I did. That moment on, after he received that amazing score in his SATs, he decided to take life seriously. He started showing up to school on time. He actually started to go to his classes, paying attention, he was interactive in the class, engaging. He literally went from failing in class to becoming a scholar. He would go on to graduate from high school. He started off at a community college, then went into the Ivy Leagues, and then became the successful entrepreneur. Fast forward to about 10 years after he graduates from college and has a successful career. He receives a letter, and his wife's like, "Hey, honey, you have a letter on the table. Go and check it out." So he goes to check it out. Well, what he didn't know was that there were times where the SATs would randomly check results for tests, and they happened to go back dated to when he took his test, only to inform him that the test results he received were inaccurate. So here he is thinking that I'm super smart now. So this is why I'm going to go and show up to class and actually put effort into it, only to find out he had a really low score and didn't even pass. So then most people hearing that story will say, well, what is it? What happened? Was he always smart, or did he become smart after the fact? The truth is, he had the ability to do all that he had created, but it wasn't until he received something to change his behavior that aligned him with the results and success that he had in life. So the truth is, We can change our behavior based off of information that we receive, and we can dictate whether we're going to use that to help us become better or if we use that to be an excuse. The truth is, he failed the SATs, but because he thought that he had done well, he started to behave differently. And because his behaviors changed, he became successful. What happens now when we start to evaluate our behavior, evaluate the things that we are entertaining, and choose to think differently? In the same fashion that there are people that can have an experience like this young man who went and started changing the way he behaved based off a false test result, are people who choose to believe in false narratives that are contrary to what they want, and they buy into it and have bad results. But it was never true. Everything stemmed from their behavior and what they wanted to believe. There's another story of a worker on the train. And so he got stuck in one of the rooms in the train. And while he was in there, he was trying to knock on the door, trying to get out, and he couldn't get out. And so literally, he starts to feel like he's freezing. And now he starts telling himself he's about to freeze to death. And so he's in there, he's complaining, he's trying to get out. And so what he does is he starts to write on the ground in the event that someone finds him. And he says, I think this is my last words to anyone who finds me. He says, I'm getting colder and colder, is what he was writing on the ground. So eventually the man died in that room that he was stuck in. They found him. When they found him, they also found that the temperature in the room had never gotten colder. It was actually 56 degrees in the room. But because he believed that he was stuck in this ice box, because he believed that he was getting colder, because he believed he was, freezing to death, his behavior started to decline based off of information that was inaccurate. What happens when you start changing the way you move? You will find that there are things that are waiting for you, people that are waiting for you based off of how you show up in life. And I know this firsthand because I know the person that I am today was absolutely nothing like the person I used to be. And those who know me for a long time can attest to everything that I'm saying. But I started to change my behavior. And the reason why I started to change my behavior was because I realized that the person that I was being did not gratify me. I realized that being timid and believing these thoughts of low self-esteem were not serving me. But I also started to believe in something bigger than myself. I started to choose to see myself the way God saw me, not based off of my experiences, not based off of my environment, but I started to believe in something bigger than myself, and I changed the way I moved. And when I started changing the way I moved, I had different opportunities. There were no longer barriers. There were no longer limitations, things that can or cannot happen. No one can dictate what can or cannot happen, even if they seem as if they have authority over you. Even if they're your boss, even if they're someone of influence, they may be able to pause or prolong something at that particular moment in time, only if you don't choose to move forward. But the truth is, no one can stop you. And you have to start learning how to influence your own behaviors so that way you can start to attract what you actually want. And influence your behaviors to move in such a way where people start to believe what you say. And once they start to believe what you say, they can then align with you. I can tell you right now, there are people that find themselves in rooms they shouldn't be in. There are people that have broken all odds. And why have they done that? Because when they believe they belong there, and they behaved as if they belong there. Period. They believed they could. They acted as if it was already done. And so the world had to catch up. No longer let people influence your way of being if their influence is not going to get you to where you have to go. Most of our stories that we believe, most of our actions, most of our limiting beliefs were created by age 7. And how we reframe things, how we revisit certain experiences, they're all based on a belief that we created for ourselves by the time we were 7 years old. And most of us don't even go back to question why we think and feel a certain way about certain things. Having anxiety about certain things, having all these fears, allowing things that don't even really exist to determine what we can and cannot have. In our evolution of being who we are becoming, we now have a responsibility to look at what's taking place and say, how am I going to respond to this matter? How am I going to respond? And I'm going to be really transparent with you. Right before getting on here, I had a text message that I received. And I had to look at the text message and say, no, I'm not going to respond right now. Because if I respond right now, I'm not going to be responding. In fact, I'd be reacting. So let me take a moment and look at this message from different lens. Let me take a moment to take myself out of the way and let me see, what is the intention of this message? How can I grow from this message? What is actually being done? And choose to see that as a win rather than, you sound real funny. See, when we realize that we are the ones that have the power over how we move, no one ever has the ability to make us feel a certain way unless we give them that power. We are more powerful than we actually believe or give ourselves credits for. We give our power to so many people, so many things, whether it's because we admire someone or whether it's because we have a certain feeling for somebody and then we want to be pleasant in their eyes. There's so much that we have to debunk to give us the power that already belongs to us. It's time for a lot of you to take your power back. It's time for a lot of you to say, you know what? It's all good. Either way this turns out, it turns out in my favor. If we work out together, great. If we don't, great. I posted a meme the other day and it said, listen, it'll be great if we win together. But if we don't, I'm still going to win. You don't determine if I win or not. I do. So now I have to take the time to make sure that I'm built in such a way, or I'm continuing to build myself in such a way where I don't stop even when I want to. When I have to figure out what can I learn from this circumstance and become better from it, what do I need to do right now to shift some things to make sure that I'm in the frequency that allows me to win in every area of my life. Because nobody has the power other than me, unless I give it to you. I'm not giving nobody my power. Like that Beyonce song, they'll never take my power. Listen, they ain't gonna take my power, okay? They're not gonna take it and I'm not gonna give it to you. But that's a higher level of maturity and responsibility that does not always feel good. But I shared with you all the other day, you can either choose the emotion or choose progress. Choose the emotion or choose progress. What are we aiming for? What's the goal here? Do we want to be progressive? Do we want to advance? No one can run my race but me. No one could beat me at my race but me. Period. And so I get to conduct myself in such a way where now the words that God has spoken over my life are able to fully manifest themselves because I conduct myself in such a way. My sister will tell you, my mom will tell you, my family that are close to me will tell you, they never know when I'm talking in faith or when something has literally manifested. They don't know. Do you know why they don't know? Because I act as if. Because there's no difference between what's in the natural plane and what's in the spirit world. Because it's already done anyway. And so because it's already done anyway, I already act like it. I act like it sometimes until I believe it. And sometimes I already believe it. That's why I act like it. Either way it goes, I'm showing up as the finished work. I'm showing up knowing that it's already mine. The time frame is not really what dictates whether something can happen or not. See, we get caught up in time. That's our natural side. Our natural side gets caught up in time where it's like, oh my goodness, I'm this age. Oh my gosh, why is it taking me so long? Oh no, I had this goal set for this time. That's the natural side of us. But when we tap into the spiritual side of us and really know who we are in spirit, there's no time. There's no time in God. There's no time in God. So if there's no time in God, there's no time in me, which then means I can also manipulate time if I grow myself in such a way to be at that level of maturity. It's all about our growth, our commitment to growing, which then leads us to behaving in such a way where we attract and we manifest what God has already spoken over our lives. And so today, I want to challenge your behavior. Are you behaving like someone who already has won in whatever area that thing is? Are you behaving like that? Because your behavior will dictate how you speak, how you show up, what you present to the world. Your behavior says it all. People can see you. They can see you. They can feel you. Okay? It's real. And you have to learn how to behave a certain way, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it doesn't seem sure. Stop waiting for everything else to align. You align and watch everything else come together. I don't have to know how. I just know that it is. And because I know that it is, I show up that way. I show up that way because it's already done. So I pray this has been a blessing to you, that you're going to behave totally differently from this day forward, that you're going to act as if it's already done. You're going to conduct yourself as if you've already received all that you're believing for, all that you're wanting, and you show up in the world as your highest self, knowing that no one can show up better than you. No one can take away your power. No one can dictate whether you win or not. No one has that ability. I don't care how great they are. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care if they've done all the things you want to do and you haven't done it yet. It does not matter. Honey, when you know who you are, people can't stop you. That's why there's a lot of folks that don't like me, because I know who I am. There are folks that make way more money than me, have way more influence than me, but they don't like me. Why? Because I know who I am. And it shakes the room every time I step in. And that's how you need to see yourself. That's how you need to behave. And those that are assigned to you, honey, when y'all come together, it's game over. So if you want to work with me personally and I can help you grow your money, get your whole life together, get you snatched right, and have an amazing life from the inside out, you need to be a part of the Royal Patriot Society, where we believe in bridging the wealth gap in the colored community, empowering you through financial literacy, trading the foreign exchange market, tapping into multiple industries to help you win in every area of your life. If that's you, make sure you contact me immediately and I can help you do so. My pleasure, Queen Casey. Until next time, only believe until the end and go get your life. Be blessed, everybody.
I'm a millionaire, money better cases. I ain't